Welcome to another edition of Vikings Update, your source for the latest in VCSU Athletics. Well, another battle for the paint bucket went down Saturday, and for the fifth straight meeting, it was the road team that left with the trophy. University of Jamestown scored with 2:10 remaining Saturday as the Jimmies defeated the Vikings 16-13. VCSU's Colby Lumb with a big gain on a reverse there set up Derek Elliott's 15th rushing touchdown of the season. Later, quarterback Curtis Walls found Danny Handgard in the back of the end zone for a touchdown that made it 13-10 Vikings before the Jimmies would score late. Two teams split their meetings this season, road team winning each contest. Valley City State now off for a week. They will host Mayville State November 9th in their home finale. It's also the final North Star game for both teams. Currently, Valley City, Mayville, Jamestown, and Dakota State, they are all still alive for a share of the North Star Conference title. Viking volleyball team had its final conference game last week, dropping a tight 4-set match at Mayville State. Vikings are 13-23 overall and finished 3-5 in conference play. They wrap up the regular season October 31st with a match at Dickinson State. Vikings will then play at Mayville again in the semifinals of the North Star Tournament coming up November 6th. The Viking cross-country team ended the regular season Saturday at the Mount Marty Invite. Viking men took 8th out of 13 teams. They were the top North Star team as well, finishing ahead of both Jamestown and Dakota State. Up next for the Vikings is the North Star and Midlands Conference and National Qualifying Meet that comes up November 9th in Lawrence, Kansas. And the Viking men's and women's basketball teams open the season this weekend with home games. The women were picked to finish 3rd in the North Star preseason poll, while the men were picked to finish 4th. We sat down with both head coaches for a quick look at the upcoming season. Joined on the update now by Cathy Hanek, head coach of the Viking women's basketball team. Cathy, you have your season openers coming up Friday, Saturday, Dordt, Northwestern coming in. First off, we'll start with you. First year head coach this year. How's that adjustment been and getting to know the players you've inherited?
Right, the adjustment has been great. You know, the kids have been really responsive and have done a great job adjusting to, my style and what I expect of them. So hopefully we'll be ready to go by Friday. One
of those players you inherited, Brittany Lehner, you're only senior on the squad. Obviously, she's going to take on a lot of leadership role. First team all-conference last year. What have you learned about her in the month or two you've had to know her?
Brittany's a great leader, and I know that our younger kids really look up to her, and our upperclassmen look up to her as well, and put a lot of responsibility on her shoulders to carry that leadership role, and she's done a great job. I think we're really looking for her to have a great season and have a big impact in our conference.
3 straight national tournament appearances for the team. A lot of these girls have been on those squads. You return a lot of letter winners. You're also mixing in some new faces. Tell us a little bit about the depth of your team this year. How far are you going to be able to go on that bench?
Personally, I like to be able to play 9, 10 kids, and right now I think we're there. We need a little bit more help towards the end of that rotation, but I think that, again, our newcomers are still adjusting just to the college game in general, but I think as the season goes along, they'll really start to find their niche.
Okay, Cathy, thanks. Appreciate the time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Cathy Hanek, head coach of the Viking women's basketball team. Her squad takes on Dordt 5:30 Friday night and Northwestern 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Jeff Kaminsky, head coach of the Viking men's basketball team, joins us here on the Viking Update. Coach, opening your season this weekend, Dordt and Northwestern, a couple very good teams coming to town Friday and Saturday. First off, we'll start with you guys, though. Qualified for the national tournament last year, first time in 20-some years. You lost a lot of guys from that squad, but some of your key returners, Aaron Dusky, A.J. McDonald, what are those two guys going to do for this year? Make more of a leadership role. What are you going to rely on them for?
I think most importantly, hopefully it's not another 25 years till we get back.
Right.
Neither of us may be around here, but yeah, those two guys are going to be important, certainly to our success. They both had great years last year, and a big part of the reason why we won 23 games a year ago. And what you want from two guys like Aaron and AJ is for them to kind of take the next step. You have, obviously we had some key losses,
right,
and it's not about replacing those guys, but we're going to have a little bit of a new identity. But you want those key people coming back to sort of take that next step. And really in the preseason, I've seen that from both of those guys. They've taken the next step, and I think they're going to have fantastic years.
You have a lot of new faces in as well. How is that that transition, the grouping of new and old, how is that cooperative working together for you?
Well, it's what little hair I have, I'm losing that too. So, no, you know what? I love this time of year. It's this great time of year where you get to teach the game, and the last couple years we've had especially last year, we had a really experienced group. We probably knew what our starting lineup was going to be 2 months before the season started, and you'd let guys earn that on the court. But you know, the reality was we had a lot of roles that were not predetermined, but we had a pretty good idea where we were going to be at going into the year last year. And this year, completely different. So there's a fun side of both of that, having that experienced group back, but also having a new group that we feel is pretty talented and pretty young, and getting a chance to work with them, and a lot to prove. But there'll certainly be a few more unknowns at tip-off this Friday.
You tip off Friday night, 7:30 against Dort, and then Saturday afternoon, 4 against Northwestern. Both those teams in the national tournament last year. Northwestern, we're expecting them maybe a top 10 ranked team this year. Good quality teams coming in, right?
Well, they are. I mean, the GPAC's a good league. I don't know that there's necessarily a lot of separation probably in their league when you get through the first 5 teams, and Dort and Northwestern should factor in the top part of the conference again, and have a chance to be nationally ranked and have a chance to get to a national tournament. So it makes the games even more meaningful. It's a long season, and you want to focus on getting better. And regardless of what happens this weekend for any team, it's not going to make your season or break your season, but it certainly could have a large impact. There's no question. When we went to Northwestern last year and they were a top 5 team and got a win on their floor, that helped us throughout the season as we dealt with some of the national rankings. So we understand that this weekend's not about making our season or breaking our season, but every game is certainly significant.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate the time, and good luck to this weekend.
Thank you.
Jeff Kaminsky, head coach of the Viking men's basketball team. Their season tips 7:30 Friday night against Dort at the W. E. Osmond Fieldhouse.